Hello and welcome back to the show. Myself and Derek are very excited about this one today. Now, is anyone else out there completely fed up with the onslaught of SUVs out there? No, just us? Okay, then. Well, look, anyway, Audi have listened to our calls and they are bringing out the A6 Avant. It's an all-electric state and we like it. We are delighted to see this coming and we're going to bring you all the details you need today. But hold on for a second because we want to have a look at what else is out there. No, the Audi isn't the only one to get an all-electric state to market. We're going to argue for the Porsche and we're going to argue for the MG5. Let's get stuck into the details.
Thanks, Blake. Yes, we're going to start off, and it is a concept, so it won't be exactly like this, but we've got a good bit of details there. So buckle in. We're going to give you a bit of a stat attack about the Audi A6, and it's coming in a fastback and also an Avant, which in other speak would be an estate or a shooting brake. And what we've got coming on is it's based on that PPE platform, which is Audi's dedicated platform. It has the 800-volt architecture, which means super fast charging times. And we're hoping to see this rolled out across different segments, such as the B segment in that Audi sphere moving forward. There's a 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack, we reckon, suggesting 435 miles. Blake, do we think it's going to be 435 miles?
I'm not going to say no. I don't think it will be. Will it be able to do it in certain circumstances? Yeah, probably will. WLTP is going to come in around that 435 mile. Then no, WLTP is a little bit optimistic, so probably not. Is it going to be down towards the low 300s in the real world? Yeah, probably will be something more like that. But look, that's absolutely fine. That's pretty good. The kind of charging levels we're talking about. Anyway, Derek, tell us more about it.
Yeah, charging levels with that 800-volt architecture, you're getting from 5% to 80% in about 20 to 25 minutes. Looking forward to seeing that charging curve. DC, it's going to take 270 kilowatts at its peak. It's dual motored. It has potentially for a rear motor in the future if you don't want all that traction and power. It has air suspension. Between those dual motors, it's 350 kilowatts worth of power with nearly 800 newton meters of torque. It's got air suspension and adaptive dampeners. And Blake, we've been driving a couple of EVs recently, and they could do with some air suspension and dampening. So that ride comfort is important to me, and I'm sure it is to you as well.
Yeah, you mentioned because we did a video on the top 5 features of the Citroen there, and you talked about that magic carpet ride. Hard to go back to some of the other cars that we've been driving, just in terms of comfort. So I think you're spot on with that one. Great to see.
Well under 4 seconds, 0 to 62 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour, and under 7. That was for the dual motor, and under 7 for the single motor. It's nearly 5 meters long. It is a weapon of a car. It's huge. Sportback has the drag coefficient of 0.22. It comes on the potential 22-inch wheels, if you like the style over comfort and range. It has cameras for mirrors, and this is on the concept. And I'd say we may see that to get that drag coefficient on the production model as well. Matrix LED headlights with customizable design, so I can know exactly whether it's Blake or not that's meeting me on the road. And we should be seeing this on the road in 2023, fingers crossed. But it cannot take the crown for being the world's first fully electric Avant or sporting brake or estate or station wagon. Blake, which was the one to take that crown?
Yeah, well, look, we've had the MG5 around for a few years now, of course, based on the Rowe brands that we've seen over in China. And remember, we had Will on the show in a previous video talking about that as well. But yeah, let's not forget about the MG5 because it's a really, really compelling car. Will it be as nice to drive, as fast, as longer range, as good tech as the Audi? No, not even close. But we're talking about sub £30,000 in the UK, just to give people a bit of perspective on price. Like that is incredible value for money. Just to remind ourselves of some of the highlights there. It's a 61 kilowatt hour battery, 57 usable. But that's a solid 200 to 250 mile car, depending on the circumstances. Blast that down the motorway might be just under 200 in winter, but take it easy around town, Derek, because we've driven the car, both versions of it, and the efficiency. Anyway, for me, I was really surprised at it. Very pleasantly surprised, that is, and no slouch as well. 115 kilowatt motor, like that's not too bad. For someone like me coming from the old Nissan Leaf with an 80 kilowatt motor, like 115 is decent. And how fast do we need to go? 7.7 seconds, not to 62. That'll do just fine. You don't need to be going any faster. And charge okay as well. 80 kilowatts on DC. So that's not going to set the world alight. But on a battery, 57 kilowatt hour usable, you're throwing most of that back in half an hour by the time you get the higher levels and you're going to move on to the next station anyway. So yeah, I think it's really, really compelling. Audi was not the first, and MG5 has been doing it for a while, and they've been doing it really, really well. And we've got that refreshed version on the way as well. So Derek, what do you make of the MG5 just as another option? And then after that, possibly give us another version.
Yeah, it's great value, and they're selling more and more of them, and people realize that they don't need that SUV form factor, and we'll talk about that towards the end. Make sure you stick around to that. But and Audi can't claim that it's the first, and it also can't claim that it's the first luxury electric estate sporting brake fastback. Sorry, estate shooting brake. It is that crown goes to the Porsche Cross Turismo, and I was lucky enough to test drive this as well for a couple of hours, and beautiful car, like to the Porsche standard that we're all loving. And it is definitely that Porsche driver that's making the transition from combustion over to electric. That's the target audience right there. Built on the J1 platform, and it has a 83.7 kilowatt hour battery and just close to 300 miles real world. Pretty much at £100,000. I know you can get it from 82, but you're going to start speccing all those niceties onto it. It has a 350 kilowatt hour output across the electric motors. It has 500 Newton meters of torque. So the Audi starts to beat it on stuff like this. It's 5.1 seconds, 0 to 62 miles an hour. And then it is the ability of going up to 262 on DC when it's charging, 11 kilowatt as standard, but then the option of 22 kilowatt on AC, which we both love, Blake, so that you can use those nice pedestal chargers that are around shopping centers and on the streets.
Oh, love it, yeah.
We're both fans of estates for whatever reason. I don't have a family, but I have a partner and a puppy. Blake, you're lucky enough to have the whole package, 2 boys and all the rest of it. But we think that there should be more estates on the road, and it's great to see at least these 3 options to start off with.
Yeah, I really, really want to see more EV estates. So I, as you can tell from the way I've been talking so far, I'm really getting like a little bit fed up now with the SUVs out there. And it's okay, more of a legacy perhaps from the combustion vehicles that we've seen over the last 10 years and the rise of those. But these are massively heavy cars. When you look at the internal space available, I don't know if it justifies it. They are more dangerous in collisions. If you look at the increase in emissions, okay, the engines themselves are getting more efficient, but the cars are getting so much more heavier that it's cancelling all that out. And same with road safety as well. Although brakes are getting better, tires are getting better, perhaps we're not speeding as much and the safety tech is getting better. We're still losing a lot of lives on roads. And you know, can we put some of that down to vehicles being huge, big 2.5 ton SUVs? And yes, we can. So I really want to see smaller, lighter cars and estates for people that need that space inside. If they've got 2, 3, 4 kids and a dog, they need the extra bit of space. They need a boot with 500-600 liters. Let's get them into much more efficient estates. That's what I want to see anyway. Now, Derek, we might make another video on something like that and get into the details and look at some of the statistics in the future. But for me, yeah, it's really important that we make that transition back away from SUVs. Now, I'm not saying we ban them and get rid of them altogether. Are there use case scenarios? Yeah, absolutely. But not to the extent that we're seeing them on the roads now.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to seeing more electric estates out there. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. Make sure you've already subscribed to the channel. Make sure you let us know in the comments what you think, where you're based. If there are a lot of estates, depending on the country, there are more than others. So that transition over to electric estates, because we know on the European continent, estates form factor are much more popular. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video, and this has been EV Platform.
Thank you very much for watching.